and welcome back to Thoughts of the Roundtable with me, Matt Rebar.
And me, Paul Laux.
Now, we haven't recorded in a little while, and I'm not gonna.
No big deal.
I'm not gonna shame us. Life happens. Idealistically, we'd be doing this a bit more regularly, but things happen. But
it's just one of.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Paul.
No, it's just one of those things where, if anyone has the notifications on, they might see it finally. Like, oh my gosh, an episode has finally dropped. I'll admit, there's legitimately a couple podcasts I listen to where everything is uploaded every day or every other day. There's some that I listen to that are it's literally 6 months in between episodes.
Yeah.
But I love it. I don't care.
I know. I think we keep people on high alert because you never know when you're going to get thoughts in your stream. But between our last recording and now, Paul, we celebrated a milestone. 4 years of Thoughts of the Roundtable.
Has it really been that long?
4 years, and this is going to be, I believe, our 87th episode over 4 years. So, yeah, on average, we're doing 20 a year. We're almost weekly.
That's more than once a month. If
happens,
honestly,
it goes from maybe we do 3 in 1 month, we take a month off, we come back and do 3, take a month off. We have a weird consistency, but 4 years, Paul. Our first episode uploaded January, I believe, 29th, 2019.
And I remember first of all, if you would have told me we would have done 87 episodes of these when we started, I wouldn't have believed you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Who gets that far in a podcast? Not many people.
Yeah.
But I remember we used to film it together at my house, and then COVID happened. We've never, I feel like a corporation that's wants people to come back for the office culture, but we're just no, we're good. We're not doing that.
No, I agree. We definitely do not have any interest in making the hassle of recording together in person. I mean, and not that I don't want to see you in person, but it was a hassle. It'd be when are you free? When are you free? When can you drive? When can you drive? And now I get to see you. We can talk, we can record, but and
be done.
Much more leisure. Because I'll be honest with you, if we didn't have this option, let's be real, we didn't have this option and we had to record in person, we would not be at 87. We would probably be at 25.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially now because I'm not free until, evenings or whatever, but
yeah,
personal life. But I do, just to show the growth of this podcast, I want you to remember back when we first started doing this, and you had the car that didn't have a front bumper. And also, you remember one of the first times you came to my house to record, and you leaked oil all over my driveway? Do you remember that? And you just, there was just an oil slick on my driveway for, months. An entire summer almost.
The amount of people who associate me with bad car memories, there's a lot of people, Paul.
Way too many?
Yeah, there's way too many people that go, remember that time with your car? And I go, yeah, I am not good with cars. My cars are always a mess, inside, outside. I mean, I honestly view cars, and I feel like some car enthusiasts are going to take a... But I view cars as pieces of metal that get me places. That's it. That's all a car is to me.
I see it as utility, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like a gas electric car. It's a utility.
Yeah.
And I get my cars for purpose.
Yeah.
And I have a little tiny Ford Focus it's electric blue, and that getting the blue is my personality coming out, but it's just a little tiny car. But
you know what's funny? When I bought Oh, go ahead, Paul.
No, I feel like I'm going to be the dad minivan soon, though. I'm going to get there.
Yeah, you have 2 kids. You are slowly but surely getting into minivan territory. But when I bought my car, I don't know if I've ever said this, and if I have on this podcast, please DM me. But when I bought my car, Paul, they were like, do you want the white or do you want a color? And I was like, oh, well, what's the price difference? They go, white is, $16,000, and the color add $50. And I go, I'll take the white. It was
really.
I was like, I'm not spending extra money for a color. Come on.
Was it $50 a month or $50 total?
No, $50 total. But still, Paul, I was spending a lot of money on a car. I'm not gonna throw in an extra money.
White cars are gross.
I know, it actually really is. My car looks like salt and grime and the devil's booty hole be rubbing up on my car. It does not look good. But
white cars and black cars just show way too much dirt and salt and just no thanks. And,
we can't all have electric blue cars like you, Paul. Oh my gosh.
Please, my other car is red. It was funny because just the growth of my life. So my wife also had a Ford Focus, and so both of us had the Foci, two Focus, and so hers was just it was just a piece of junk. And I remember the heat shield fell off on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And we literally just welded it back on top. I'm like, I don't even care. I don't want to fix it. We just welded
it. You were like some Middle Earth blacksmith welding the car together. Yeah, what do you even weld with? Like, how do you like? If you asked me to weld something, I'd go to Home Depot and just stand there like how do you weld something, Paul? I don't.
You just have a welder, and you just do little spots. So
it's called a welder. That the tool is called a welder.
A little stick. We use a friend's. That's all I did. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had no idea what I was doing, but I had access.
I feel like I'm listening to like a foreign language, and I'm like, are they talking about me right now?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. It worked though. It fixed it. It didn't rattle anymore. Yeah. I will. This is one of the funniest moments of my life. So we were driving downtown and in Katie's car, and this is when the heat shield was like starting to hang off the car. Mm-hmm. And other things were going on. The brakes were bad, whatever. And we didn't have the money to fix it, so we just drove it downtown. Yeah. And we get out and we go downtown, and this homeless guy comes up to us. Yeah. And we thought that he was gonna, ask us for change or something, and it was like midnight at this time or whatever. And he comes up to us like, no, thank you, man. And he goes, no. I know a guy who can fix your car. I think you need your car fixed. I'm like, dang, like the homeless guy's coming up to me and be like, buddy, you need to fix the car. Yeah. Like, please.
My dad doesn't live down. So there was one time, I think we were in Philadelphia. My mom and I, we're kind of the kind hearts of the family, my mom and I. So we're walking down the street and this lady comes up. She's like, please, I need some money. I need to get to somewhere. And my mom and I are like, oh my gosh, and we're like, how much do you need? And she broke character. She was like, I need $13.45. And we're like, oh, okay. And my dad comes up and he's like, pulls us away. And my mom and I were like, but she needed $13.45. He's like, you two are big dummies. That was so staged. I was like, really? And like looking back, she did like one of those acting like fourth wall breaks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we are dummies. Like I don't know. I'm such a bleeding heart, man. I'm the worst.
Well, I had a friend who we were downtown, and my friend is a nurse. And this guy came up to me. He's like, "Man, I just need like $50 to $100. Like, I'm diabetic and I need money for this and that and for medication stuff." And my buddy who's a nurse is like, "Tell me your numbers." And so I don't know what he started talking about. He started talking about sugar levels and all this. And my buddy ended up giving him $100. And so we walked away, and he goes, "There's two." He goes, "I did that because there's only two real outcomes." He goes, "All those numbers are right. So either he actually is diabetic, or he rehearsed it so much and knew so much about it that he deserves it." So it's like,
wow.
He's like, he either actually is diabetic and needs this stuff, or he knows like. He researched it so much he deserves the prize.
I was gonna say he was at the library doing the research. Like he has like those academic goggles on. Like, all right, I see if this is the blood sugar. Wow, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
I also love this. Can I be honest? And I don't mean to talk ill of those who are experiencing, any sort of level of poverty or unhoused. But this is what my least favorite is when someone comes up and you could tell like they're about to ask for something. You can just tell. And they're like, "Hey, do you have a second?" And I just go, "Oh, I don't have any money, or I don't have any food on me. Sometimes if I'm carrying leftovers, there you go.
Yeah, I've done
whatever, or I have a protein bar." And then they're like, "I didn't ask. I was going to ask for money." I was like, "Really? What are you here to ask? You want to talk about the weather? You come up to ask me where I got my sweater from Old Navy? Really?" Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That kind of gets me a little like, But I will say my one friend, I know now we're on this topic, my one friend was like, yeah, someone came up and asked for like food, and I gave them a protein bar or like a Raisin Bran bar or something. And the person looked at it and goes, Oh no, I'm good on this. I was like, how can you be picky? Like, if it's a raisin granola bar, like, come on, like, just, I don't know. That felt like, dude, like, how hungry are you? Because, like, if I'm hungry, I'm eating the raisin granola bar.
Yeah.
No question.
Without a doubt. By the way, you said you had some breaking news. What is the breaking news?
That was the breaking news.
Oh, that was
4 years.
That was the breaking news? Wow.
Isn't that breaking news? I don't know. I thought that was breaking news. It was cool. How many podcasts, let's be real. If we go on Apple Podcasts, we look at all podcasts of all time, how many survived like 10 episodes or like 3 months? Let's be real.
I'm telling you. 4 years.
We made it 4 years.
4
Paul,
years.
Our friendship now goes back like 6 or 7 years. Like, we're stuck with each other at this point.
That is I met you probably 2016?
No, I think 17, 18.
No, I had almost left in 18 at the station, so it was at least 2017.
You think 2016? So we've had 7 years of friendship. Yeah, we're stuck with each other, Paul.
I was talking to one of my friends.
We're gonna be old men, like kids these days.
Can you imagine what the millennial nursing home is going to be like? Like, it's just going to be nuts. Just SpongeBob playing in the background and.
I remember when there was good artists in our day like Katy Perry and Justin Bieber.
They should just give us like fake AOL chats, you know. But
like you're like a little older than I am, Paul. I technically am considered a millennial Z cusp.
Wait, what year are you?
I'm a cusper. Well, I was born in late '94.
Oh, you are. Yeah, you even a millennial at that point?
No, I'm like technically like closer millennial than I think I am Z, but it's like one of those like cusp years.
Yeah.
It's like, like it's like kind of because like let's be real. I know I'm technically a 90s kid. I have no clue what happened in the 90s.
See,
my earliest memories are 2000s, like the aughts, man.
See, I was born in 90, and so like the 90s were my era. And then Wait
a minute. I thought we celebrated your 30th birthday last year.
2020, we did.
I feel like I remember last year we had a birthday party for you, and you were 30 last year.
No, I was born in 19. I'm 32, my friend.
Oh my gosh, dude, time flies. I swear we were just celebrating your 30th, and you were like,
"No,
man, I'm turning 30," and blah blah blah. We were like, "It's okay, dude."
That was 2020. It was super depressing because my 30th birthday was on a Zoom call. It was the worst thing ever. It was literally the worst.
Not only were you turning 30, which is that's a big year.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the big years you have, like the big ones, 18, 21, like 16, sweet 16, that's fine, whatever. 13, you're a teenager, whatever. But 18, 21, 25, I would argue, 30, 40, 50.
And then you die.
So, you know what I mean? 60. Yeah, I would say like any decade.
No,
think decade is like.
Like, I've never been the person who like birthdays mess you up. 30 messed me up for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. 30 was a rough one. Yeah. And I think it was exacerbated by the fact that I turned it in 2020 when everything was in middle of lockdown.
Yeah.
And so like I turned 30 years old and it was just a hellish year because I had lost my job that year. That it was nightmarish. So that piled on everything. It's like, oh great, now I'm 30. It was whatever. But yes, but now that I think about it, like yes, I was a 90s kid. I grew up through the entirety of the 90s. I existed through the entirety of the 90s. But
do you remember do you remember 90s? Like, for real, though. You're a 90s kid. You remember, like, existing in the 90s.
For sure. Well, I think I pretty much remember, like, 96 on, because I remember vividly getting Ocarina of Time for N64, which is 97. And yeah. I played the living shit out of that game. And so I remember Bomberman 64 getting... So I basically, like, when things really clicked in... like 96, 97. Like, I remember playing those games. I remember Tamagotchis and all that. But my prime, like, early teen years was the early 2000s. Like, basically post 9/11. And, which I was actually talking to my wife about this the other day. Isn't it weird to think about how the drastic difference, like, pre and post 9/11? Like, there's seriously, like, a stark... difference.
I'm honestly jealous of the people who got to just like walk into airports and walk onto the plane. Do you know how difficult a post 9/11 airplane experience has become? Like
one thing I vividly remember, and this is why I remember the 90s, is because my aunt lives on the West Coast, and so she'd visit every summer. And I remember walking her to the gate of the plane to wish her, see her off to the plane. So I remember like going past security, going to the physical gate, and sitting and saying, "Hey, goodbye." And I think about that now. I'm like, that's crazy that we used to do that. Like, we used to go to the physical gate and wait with them.
Yeah, that is. And now if you want to eat in an airport, you have to buy a ticket. I mean,
well, who's going to eat?
No more airport dining for easy convenience. Dude, you know what? This is wild. Real quick, this reminds me. On my last plane, I was sitting waiting for the plane, and they had just one of the gates next to me had just closed. They were like, "We're flying to Kansas City." All of a sudden, I hear and these two older people are booking it to that gate, but the door was closed, so they were effed.
Yeah.
Right? But the guy opens the door.
How?
Opens the actual door, alarms go blaring, security comes out like it's a Kim Possible animated show. Wow, security. And I'm looking at this guy and this lady, and the lady's like, "I said not to do that, Gerald." And I have my AirPods in, and I do that thing when you have the AirPods in, and it's time for you do that subtle double tap, stop the volume.
Wait, you can double tap these?
Yeah, you can double tap AirPods if you set them in your. Oh, Paul just vanished. I think Paul just died. I think it's literally he just dropped the call, and I think what happened was I told him about double tap, and I think he double tapped, and it kicked him off the Zoom. So, wow. Oh, there he is. Wait, did double tapping just now kick you off the call?
It ended the call.
See, you have them set. You can go to your iPhone settings. Anyway, that was hilarious. So the best part is security's there, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. We were just trying to get on the plane. My bad." And they're trying to act like it wasn't a big deal, and thanks for having us. We'll just find another plane. And the security's like, "Dude, we're taking you in. We're taking you to I don't know security's underground, interrogation room." And I know the lady kept saying, "Gerald, I told you not to do that, Gerald."
Now they're not going to St. Louis.
Yeah, now we're not going to see our daughter Stacy in Kansas City. Anyway,
they probably just, I wonder what they do, and they probably just rough them up, give them a little bit of a fine, and send them on their way.
One of my favorite quotes, if it was from a documentary, and the cop was like, "Did I want to do some 1970s police work and rough them up a little bit? I did, but I couldn't." And I was like, 1970s police work? That sounds
That's
horrifying.
2023 police work, by the way, roughing them up.
Nothing. Some things change, but some things don't change. I gotta tell you.
Wait, can
Paul. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to tell you one thing.
Of course.
I've never had a crazy flight experience ever, except one time, and it's a very quick story, and I'll tell you this. So I've had turbulence, whatever, but nothing really crazy passenger-wise ever. Somehow I've always avoided that, except for one time, and it was this guy. I was flying from San Diego to Cleveland. And this guy in front of me, he was in the emergency exit.
Yeah.
And there was a guy in the aisle seat, and he was on the window seat. And he leaned over and was sleeping on the guy in the aisle seat.
Yeah.
This older guy. And so he, the younger guy at the window seat starts to stir or whatever. And you could just tell he just reeked like booze. And we talked to the guy, and was like, "Do you know that guy?" He goes, "I have no idea who he is." We're we thought he was your kid or something. He's leaning on you. He goes, "I have no idea who that is." So the flight attendants kind of see what's going on, and mind you, it's 8 a.m, and they tap on the guy's shoulder and "Sir, are you okay?" And he was hammered, and obliterated. And they're like, "We need to see your ticket," and so he hands them the in-flight magazine. And they're like, "No, sir, we need to see your ticket." So he just starts biting and ripping the in-flight magazine apart. And then after that, he just immediately passes out, just gone.
Wow.
And so they're like, "Sir, sir." And they start shaking him. And they're
not a good idea. Not a good idea.
And so they start violently shaking him, and he's out. He's out. So much so that the flight attendant comes and checks his pulse. And, like, they're checking his pulse to make sure he's still alive. And so eventually they're like, okay, he's still got a pulse. They take their knuckles and do the sternum thing, you know, where they rub it on. They do that to, like, people who, like, pass out to, like, get him to, like, they literally had to knuckle his sternum and to wake him up. And to, like, and they're like, dude, like, you're so drunk, you're barely conscious.
Wow.
And so they had to, like, drag him up to the front of the plane.
That's wild.
And we're like, of course this guy's going to Cleveland. Of course.
It's because he's going to Cleveland that he drank that much in the flight in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, I think what we're going to have to do, Paul, we might have to end this episode and play the game next time. But before we
Let's do
go
it.
on this episode, I got to tell you, I don't want to give it away, but I know we're on episode 86. I know we don't record a lot, but I have 4 ideas for 4 episodes to celebrate our upcoming 100th episode.
By the way, I do want to bring up, if you got a couple minutes,
Yes, of course.
because I don't want the next time we record this may be irrelevant. Have you happened to watch the MH370 documentary on Netflix?
No, what is MH370?
The plane that went missing? How do you not remember that? You remember
Oh,
that?
is it the one that went over like Bangladesh or something?
How do you not know? I'm getting
Bro,
real mad.
do you know
now.
how much news we have in today's society?
getting-
Every time I
This
go on
is-
Twitter,
this was
there's
one
a
of the
new
biggest.
disaster,
No,
there's a new problem.
People are about to be pissed. I know we got like 5 listeners, but 4 of them are about to be pissed off at you because you haven't listened to this. So
Okay, tell me about the
no,
Be a
no,
Burger
no,
King
no,
360.
No. I'm not gonna do anything. It's actually good. Go and watch it.
Okay.
You have to go watch it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it next time. We'll record next week or something, so it's not totally relevant, and we'll watch it.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna. It's way too detailed to get into if you don't know anything about it. Freaking Bangladesh, get out of here! All right, watch it.
Okay. Anyway,
it.
we're coming up to 100. I have 4 ideas for 4 episodes I want to do to celebrate our 100th, and I don't know if I want to spoil it for the listeners because I'm telling you these are 4 excellent ideas. I really cannot wait. And who knows when we'll get there? We might get there in a couple months. Might be at the end of the year. Might be 5 years of Thoughts the Round Table. But we
You
will
might be
get
30.
there. We will get there. We're gonna get there.
All right.
This has been a very illuminating, off-topic for sure episode, and we will see you next time on Thoughts the Round Table. Thanks so much for listening, and adios.
Later.